Italian?
No.
Italian?
No.
Half Italian.
Half Italian, half
Danish, British.
Danish. Jesus. Awesome.
I'm all mixed up.
You're a Torontonian for real.
Conqueror by
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, that's true, eh?
Yeah.
One from one to the next. So
Yeah.
take a piece of you too.
You're not Portuguese, that's for sure. I hear you honking your horn down the street.
No, but I did pretend I was. I think I can pass as Portuguese.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretended yesterday just because I wanted to. I
Participate.
wanted to feel the excitement.
It was a good game.
A lot of it there.
They behaved very
Oh, I
well.
didn't watch it.
You didn't watch
Sorry.
the game?
No, that's crazy.
Just got out there at the 90 minutes like a
Yeah,
first
no,
time.
I
I want
just
to
like,
sleep.
It's over here. I want to party.
Yeah.
I'm in.
It was pretty crazy, actually.
I'm
I
sure.
was out there in college. It was pretty crazy for a bit. It's good.
Did you get
French
lost?
fans and the Portuguese were celebrating together. There was no bullshit going on.
That's Toronto in a nutshell right there, right?
Yeah.
True enough.
Everybody getting along.
For once.
It's nice. It's nice to see.
It's like kindergarten.
So, Dragonette, let's start off with this. Let's kick it off with what you guys are up to. What's going on? What's new? What's happening?
It's been a bit of a gap. You're back.
We're in our gap year.
Yes.
Gap
To leave you a
years.
bit more gappy.
Yeah, we finished making a record, which just took a really long time. We're making music videos. We're like cranking up
We're releasing.
the social media. We're cranking up the talking with you guys.
Getting your faces out there, showing them around town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slightly wizened.
Do you like them?
Slightly.
They're beautiful.
Oh, go on.
Did-
This whole thing. Can the microphone see this one? Do you need to see it?
But the cameras can.
Oh,
You guys get to be YouTube sensations after that.
again.
Finally.
Again.
Again. Well, it's not like we haven't seen faces on YouTube before.
I've seen my face on YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. Yours?
So, me? No. No, not
No.
yet. I'm
This
not a
is
YouTube
your
sensation.
lucky day.
Yeah. This is
Oh
my
my
breakthrough right
God.
here to be a YouTube sensation. And as you can see, I'm wearing the branding 365. Think Fit 365. Beautiful company, keeps me in shape. Keeps Steve in shape. We love these guys. There's my plug for you guys.
And your album is
Can I get in
called
shape?
what?
You absolutely can. I can sell you.
Yeah, can you
sell
get him in shape?
Sell you supplements.
Okay.
Make you hard.
Go to
Oh,
On It.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually go to onit.com.
That's good.
Yeah, Dan has definitely the smallest muscles here, but I like that. I think it's good. You guys should
Keeps you
maybe
guys
arm wrestle just to see if
I'm
it's...
the worst arm wrestle ever.
I got a rotator cuff problem.
So do I.
Oh, God.
Ah!
That's the worst thing ever.
That's
Yeah.
what happens.
Literally,
when you get
it's
up
the
there.
worst thing
That's actually what I've been doing pretty much full time, is trying to fix my shoulder in time to be able to play shows this fall. It's not a good time,
No.
but
All three of us suffer from that one.
Yeah.
ouch. Yeah, it's a rite of passage as you get into being a wizened older man.
Yeah.
Wisdom and pain.
Yeah,
Hand in hand.
Nothing
Wizened?
comes
Is
without
wizened
pain.
a word?
Yeah.
Wizened?
yeah. It generally means that you kind of look like Gandalf, but you
Wizened.
can
It's not wizened.
wizened.
Wise.
Wise.
Wisen? In your household, perhaps.
I feel like he just made wizened up.
Victoria, I think you did too.
I don't know. It's how
I'm
I-
with you on that one.
Anyway,
Anyways, 365.
yeah.
Think
Dragonette.
Fit.
Think
Dragonette.
Fit.
I'm thinking fit.
Therefore, I am.
Yeah.
Actually, my muscles look as big as yours right now.
Well, we
in this
can't tell.
jacket.
They're pretty jacked.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
this jacket came from the guy who directed the last video that we made, which was last week. For what an amazing segue, by the way, right
I was
into
impressed.
talking about our
Have you
shit.
done this before?
I'm thinking about it. So Sammy, the director, managed to score all this awesome, very unique clothing from India that I think actually kind of arrived in somebody's
Toronto.
suitcase.
It's Toronto and India.
Toronto and India, but the pieces like somehow like came in somebody's suitcase in time for the video kind of thing. And this is just one of like,
No, this was one of his pieces, and I was like, I put it on. I was like,
Thank you.
look how good it looks on me.
Yeah.
He gave it to me.
In the budget.
yeah, so since it was already here, taking it off your back.
Anyways,
That's
that's
a lovely piece.
where we are.
Martina's going to be very colorful as a result in this video because there were a lot of outfit changes with some very good-looking colors.
You guys filmed that in Toronto?
Yeah, in a warehouse in Scarborough.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this job takes you like to amazing
Have
places.
you guys been to Etobicoke?
I think maybe on the next tour.
Well, you almost made it to Wasaga Beach.
That's true.
Unfortunately, our show got canceled.
Yeah.
Not your show, the whole
It's kind of sad.
fucking festival.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pardon my English.
the whole thing.
Can you say that?
You can see whatever you want.
Oh,
Try
amazing! All right,
Yes.
I'm gonna get $1,000 out on the table.
Zero's given, but they're all there.
Yeah. The only silver lining of that Center of Gravity Festival, which actually it's hardly a silver lining. We've played Center of Gravity in Kelowna, BC, a couple of times. And the guys who
And
organized
that's where
it
they're
there.
from, right?
Yeah, it was always one of the most fun things that we would do of the year, and I was hoping that they would be able to bring that vibe to here because it was a pretty unique festival out there. Brought together some very kooky people in a very awesome environment, and just generally a really well delivered festival. And so
Kind of like a modern day Lollapalooza.
yeah, a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
And like dudes,
No tribal.
a lot of sleeves. And there would be stunt motor, like dirt bike jumps and stuff like that, and like whatever. It was like skateboarding.
It was
whatever.
sporty
Yeah, it
festival.
was very sporty, and then
Athletic?
Extreme?
Yeah.
Like extreme?
yeah, like
Oh,
that.
sweat and muscles?
Yeah, and
But
then
they're
Martina
outdoorsy
doing a
people
show.
anyways, right?
Yeah.
So they like that type of stuff.
Anyway, bummer that it's not happening here. But at least me and everybody other than Martina is playing in my other band the night before in West Virginia, which I don't think has an airport of its own. And we were going to be driving all night to get on a plane in Pittsburgh to fly to Toronto to get an event, to get to Wasaga Beach to play it. And there is a small sigh of relief there.
Just a little one.
Yeah, because it would have been an extreme sport just to get to the Dragonette show.
And you know what? You would have had lots of monster drinks to get you through that.
Oh man, because that makes you feel great the next
Yeah.
day. It's a great sleep alternative.
20 years ago would have been awesome.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Wait, did it exist 20 years ago?
Yeah, 20. I think there was
Red
those Red
Red Bull
Bulls.
in jars.
Remember those little Red
Psychotic
Bulls?
ones?
Yeah.
Just be able to
Red
pick
Bulls.
them up on
Yeah.
Chinatown.
Yeah, Chinatown.
We bought them by the cases.
Yeah.
And no matter what, they tasted like hell.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like Buckley's, where after a while you're just like, this is awesome.
And I don't need to sleep ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I
Pretty
can go
much,
to
yeah.
a weekend long rave.
Oh god. Oh god.
Your favorite.
I can't even digest that stuff anymore. I used to drink it, and now it's like my body's like, nope.
Vibrates.
It was on our
Nope.
rider for like 10 years.
I have
Well,
one sip of it before a show, and like the whole show, I'm singing and I'm like burping in the middle of songs. It's like, it will not go down. I'm just like,
With the echo on.
Can you in Canada get what I have seen in the US, which is like a king can of Red Bull? I've
No, I
watched
haven't
guys
seen
in
those
a
yet.
convenience store like
Yeah.
getting one for breakfast, like getting in their car at 7 in the morning and that's their morning.
That's too much.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing those in Denver for the first
Yeah.
time years ago.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
shocking,
couldn't even
man.
believe it. They were
Yeah.
like, let's get some. I was like, why?
What am I going to do with this? Like have a bath in it? Like it's so much.
That and eat at Denny's and you're golden.
Yeah. The two
Yeah.
You're dead today.
IHOP's the one, man.
Oh, yeah.
We've done them all.
Yeah, I can imagine. So tell me, what's your favorite festival you guys have played? Okay, and maybe not your favorite one. What's the one you most look forward to, and what's the one that is giving you the strangest or best memory?
I think we played Lollapalooza.
That was pretty great because we
Right.
became cool
Chicago?
in America.
Yeah, in Chicago,
Yeah.
and it was like.
That's a pretty big deal, actually.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Think about it.
We were
Like
just
you
like.
just said, you guys became cool, and that's a big deal to me.
Yeah, and there were people there, which we were surprised about. Just to, I mean, it was like, well, there was.
We were playing on the Between Two Ferns stage. Like it
Oh,
was
no
the-
way.
Yeah.
Is that
Like,
Galipanakis?
no, it was just like not the main stage area at all, and it was like in a little wooded kind of area, and you know.
And we didn't
And
know what to
people came out
expect, and
and
it was
found
like
you.
there were so many people, and we were like, wait, these people are here to see us. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
no.
And so
There, are you sure? Is there another stage behind it?
You guys had sideshow anxiety or what? Was it a secondary stage?
Dragonette has had an amazingly interesting career that is often, I kind of feel like I'm going to really date myself when I say it's like Peter Sellers in the movie Being There. Like it's like
Okay.
you're always the guy who's just like to the side of the action. Like we've played, you know, Glastonbury, Coachella, whatever, Lollapalooza festivals in Spain and Australia and whatever. And I think maybe it's because of our somewhat apologetic Canadian nature that it's been hard to feel like we have a legitimate reason to be here. We have no idea why we're here.
Yeah.
And like,
Thank you so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
for having
Thanks
And
for
all
having
of
us.
you, like-
Is this mine?
yeah, all of you
Thanks for
mega
inviting
EDM
us.
DJs are like best friends and high-fiving each other with like, you know, whatever your $250,000 watches as you got off your private planes and
And
you just
threw
carried
it
all of
into
our
the
road
crowd.
cases there. And and
But
so,
I think it's a little bit because we end up being like the weird band playing at EDM festivals, like Dan said.
It's kind of
And
interesting. Yeah, 'cause I had that.
then we're like the really electro poppy
yeah, like
EDM
those guys are
band
using
playing
synths. This is
amongst like indie
bands.
bands and
Yeah.
stuff, and so we're just always like a little bit like
Sounds like
we
you
fit here.
have a pretty busy touring schedule then, if that's actually where you're fitting into things.
or
right?
none at all. If you don't fit in at all in these days, it can be
No.
like, you guys are too indie for the EDM festival, and you're too.
No, we have done
Yeah.
a lot of like EDM festivals where we're like we get up on stage and it's like okay, and somebody has just blown everybody's faces off with like the most crazy intense DJ music,
Yeah.
and then we get up on stage and we're like, this is a guitar. I don't know if you've seen one before.
A keyboard
those are-
guitar?
Drums and
We played a show in it was either Dominican Republic
it
or
was
Puerto
Dominican.
Rico,
Oh,
where
it was maybe, I don't know.
one of those places.
Yeah.
And
Warm
there was,
spot.
I remember looking at the lineup, and then I realized that there was a 30-second changeover between the act before us and us, and I was like, like what the fuck? And then I realized
Everyone had a memory stick. That was
everybody had
before
memory
you,
stick, and
yeah.
I don't think that they knew that we did it. And so we were, and they were like, well, I mean, this is what has to happen. You have to play 30 seconds after this dude, the DJ before you. So we started setting up around the DJ
While he was playing?
while he was playing,
Awesome.
and having to sound check. Now this was in a stadium, so there was no concern of anybody hearing anything coming off the stage other than his memory stick.
Yeah.
But we were sound checking in the monitors that were set around, so we were really disrupting this DJ's flow in terms of when he had to press the button to move to the next pre-programmed track in his set. And
It's so sad,
the,
but true. I know exactly what
and,
you're talking.
and so, and somehow erroneously, the monitor guy got like our drums in his monitor mixes.
So he shoots the dryer.
He
Shoots
punched
the
out
dryer.
our sound guy after, and then screamed at Martina or Joel, like, "You guys are fucking finished in Belgium. We're in like wherever we are.
No,
I'll
he
make sure
was
you
like-
guys never play a fucking show and whatever again. Do you know who I am?" And whatever.
We're like,
Anyway, we did see him a couple of years later somewhere. We did play again with him, but it was just an example of, again, Dragonette always feeling like we're kind of in the wrong place. But as a result, we've been to some pretty wicked, we've done some pretty amazing things. And like now, what's almost 10 years of playing shows. Like I've been on the phone all day. I feel like I'm trading right now. I don't know why I'm doing this. I've got agents and stuff for this, but somehow this really motivated guy in Lebanon is trying to get us to come and play in Beirut in a couple of months. And I know that it's not the kind of thing my manager wants to take on because he's busy with our record, and we don't have an agent for Lebanon. So I was like, I'll just see if it's real or not. And I come back, and so it's like I'm buying a rug in a Moroccan like souk. Like it's the negotiation back and forth with this guy about like whether he's going to buy us flights from Europe or from here, and like what kind of hotel, everything 5-star. Like it was this, and we just end up in these situations that like I'm like I started playing bass in my mom's basement on the Danforth, and now I'm like whatever trying to negotiate like what happens if there's a terrorist attack in either Turkey, which is where we fly through, or Lebanon between now and then. Would we have to come and play the gig? It's like, of course, nothing happens here. Nothing. I'm like, anyway, it's a pretty interesting job as a result, and sometimes we get to play music.
Yeah.
Right. So what's been a response? Because you guys are feeling like you're on the side, but like when you get on the stage and you're actually performing, like
People may
look
like
out.
it. Yeah. Still.
Well, clearly, yeah.
Well, what I mean by that, more no, because you guys are feeling that you're outsiders, but obviously there's a reason why you're there. There's a following that's going on with your music.
I think it's like a creative state of mind is always you go from feeling like an imposter, and then I've heard. I think so many people have that like ebb and flow of.
Because we have basically no perspective on what we look like or sound like to other people when we're playing. All
Do
we know is
you guys watch your own videos?
I hate it.
Live shows to take you?
I can't.
It's an
watch some
interesting.
of them, No, it is, but it's
I know,
kind of like a post-mortem. It's not like let's
Yeah.
see something and we're gonna feel really good after this. Like
Are you super analytical?
here's a list of the things that I fucked up, and that's the only thing you hear. Or Or worse, like here's a list of things that I think Martina fucked up, and I can't even begin to tell her that. Or the lighting guy, or whatever. Like,
I've
so
never
we'll just
fucked anything
we'll
up.
just
He's
go like
crazy.
No, but people,
So hard.
you can feel it though when you're there. For example, that Lollapalooza show was the last time I ever felt like I played a good show. No, there was a time. The shows like that, your body actually tells you that something amazing is happening.
Yeah.
Like it's not only your experience of it, but you're picking up from the like however many thousands of people in front of you that we're all in the same place. And that's I think what we once you've had that a few times or a few hundred times, the times that you don't get it are the moments where you fall into this like, oh my god, we've lost it, I haven't got anything. Like, people have moved on, they don't give a fuck.
But it's a good drive too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you start drinking in your dressing room.
Or on stage.
Yeah.
So when you guys are on stage in the dressing room, you guys been involved in a lot of fashion. You get to choose. You get the choices coming. You work with some pretty big labels.
How about this? How did that come about?
How did what come about?
Working with some of the fashion labels.
I don't know. I think, well, when we first started our band, we
dress up at the culture club.
we were coming from each scene. Like all of us were coming from very like understated music scenes where it's like not about visuals. It's just
You're not allowed
the
to
music.
be about visuals.
And
If you're
so when-
ostentatious,
and so when
then
we
you're
started-
not legit.
we started playing in this band, we were having a lot of fun dressing up, and I think that was also at a time when nobody was. I don't think that was happening in music really right then. It was about indie music and not giving a fuck and whatever. And so I think that because that was that was part of the outline of what we were at the beginning. I think we got associated with being like a fashion-y
Fashionista.
band.
Fashionistas.
Yeah, and I think at one point we kind of had to rejig that perception a little bit, just because.
Our label in the UK, when we got a record deal, really ran with that idea. They were like, "You
Yeah, the
guys
whole
are a
package,
fashion
yeah.
band," and we did.
Yeah,
like,
but it
we did a
didn't
photo-
feel like
yeah.
didn't taste right. It
No.
didn't seem
Well,
right.
it's like-
Too
It
contrived.
wasn't
Yeah.
organic
Yeah.
after a while. It
Yeah.
wasn't as fun.
Well, the whole fashion scene is pretty contrived,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
No,
yeah,
but
and
you-
also when it's like so important, and also it's like before a show, for me at least, if I have to like really if I feel like anxiety and uncomfortable with like what is on me, it's gonna come
It's gonna
across
resonate.
when I'm on stage, and there's like a 2-month period when we were playing shows, and slowly I stripped everything back, and I was like just performing. I wasn't like playing dress up and performing, and that's when I was like, oh no, this can't be
Time
our
out.
thing, because otherwise, because I don't think I'll ever find my stride in that way. And it's for some people.
Well,
That's
how
fine.
is it with the rest of the band? Did you guys enjoy the dress-up factor?
We there's some amazing clothing out there
Yeah.
that and then there's like practicality and comfort and like being able to, in the case of Joel, our drummer, kind of move.
No, and you want to look good. You want to
Yeah.
look good, and you
Beautiful
want to
Tom
put on
Ford
sexy
suit. What do you
clothes.
play?
Yeah.
The Tom Toms? That's about it.
But yeah, and I think it's a bit of it's a challenge to enter that. It's almost like once you get on that stream, you have to
Keep up.
and I think for us, I mean, it's been some time now since we've really had to think about it, but we kind of went full spectrum the other way. I was like, I'm going to wear jeans and a t-shirt,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be in a fucking band, and I'm going to concentrate on playing my music and doing all the shit that I have to do while I'm playing. And we're going to leave it up to Martina, who's like, gotta look good. You know what I mean? And luckily does. And
Yeah.
but I think to some degree we may have swung at points. If you're on a bus for whatever 3 weeks on a tour, like what you actually care about is something clean and and comfortable.
And unless you have like the infrastructure
Yeah.
of somebody taking care of that,
Yeah.
it doesn't come easy.
But it's fun. It's always a place where you can't see this on camera, but somehow I've managed to stick my foot through part of this chair, and now if I had to run out in a fire and break my ankle, I'd be leading with one foot. But I'm going to feel...
Luckily, there's 4 of us here. We can
Yeah,
help.
we can, but so I'm feeling
Safety
remarkably
first.
comfortable.
Let's say safety fourth.
Yeah.
But I think we always end up dabbling, like wanting to do something in, like, there's brands that get exciting to us, and in fact, we contact them. Like, I like your clothes. And what I have to offer is I can wear them when I play live, but they're actually, it's like the word fit is very fitting, but it's about the right fit in the sense that, like, you can't ever get to a place of feeling like Martina was describing earlier.
Yeah.
And so when it's appropriate, it's great. I think after a while, like, guys in a band, like, look like guys in a band, and it's more about the peacock in front, and luckily, there have been some crazy things. Like, I remember Martina, when we went and played with Martin Solveig, all of a sudden we're playing at like a Fendi party in Milan or whatever.
Yeah.
And they, as a little parting gift, sent her with like a $4,000 purse, but had dressed you up in some pretty happening shit on that day. And
Yeah, but
another...
that was an example of, like, I love this clothing, but I don't know if this is my stage persona, but I still have to, like, okay, I
I'll
guess
try that for one.
one night, okay.
How does this work well if you roll it up and stick it in a bag and put it on the bottom of your tour bus, or
FedEx at home?
Yeah.
But I have thought about that a lot, like the fashion band. I feel like there's
Getting out of my chair for a second. You guys go right ahead.
Oh my god, I feel like it was very sad.
Yeah.
The fashion and music, in the height of that, I think was Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Which it's like so conceptual and so over the top, and I think that there is a swing away from that right now, and everybody's really like au naturel and very. I feel, and maybe I'm just not looking at the right things.
Everybody's really for real.
I think
right
people
now.
are really like chill in their style, and it's not about making. Because that's always what happens. The pendulum swings one way and then it goes back the other way. And I think it's back the other way right now.
Well, it kind of went very quick tour, and then now everything seems pretty street style too.
Totally.
You still have your $800 pair of jeans that look like they're an old pair of Levi's.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're meant to look like an old pair of Levi's.
But I do think there's like a. I think there's a flaw, not a flaw, but I think there is something precarious about making your persona so tied in with outrageous fashion. It feels like just focusing on music and being creative that way is such a big job. It's so much work just to write music, and so when you have to stay relevant and blow people's minds.
Yeah.
Continuously with how crazy your fashion is, with like Lady Gaga, it's like everybody would be so excited just to see you in some
music
cool
becomes
jeans.
secondary, doesn't it? At that point,
exactly. And also, there's nothing more you can add onto your the range of stuff you showed us. Like that's it.
Yep.
That's all there.
Unless you wear meat. But, yeah.
What about the horse? Show up on a horse wearing meat.
And there's this girl who I love. This girl whose fashion I love. Her name is Petit Miller, and we played a show with her in the wintertime, and I was so excited to see her perform, and I was so excited to see how she dressed, and she's so cute, and her style is so particular, and I realize that I don't even know if her music is as important as how she looks, but I'm just nervous for her to wear out the relevance, because it's so fashion, and it's so hard to maintain that. It's such a big job.
What about was there Sia?
Sia.
Great haircut.
Yeah,
hard to see
it's
through.
kind of in that sense where it's logged in with that, but she's managed to tie her show at Coachella was insane.
Really? I've never seen her play
She
live.
had this whole artistic dance interpretation along with everything, and it wasn't about her. Kind of, how the focus was almost her so minimally.
Yeah.
And it's just about her voice, and then it's like, you can watch this, but I'm just going to focus on singing.
Yeah, and it actually really worked.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you look at Skrillex and those guys who pop up on another stage. I mean, who played this year? Guns N' Roses?
Was it Guns N' Roses?
Yeah, I think Guns N' Roses headlined it. And they're fashion extreme on one end as well, right? To do nothing.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah.
at the same time.
All you need is a red bandana.
Yeah, and a wheelchair.
Really?
Yeah, he had a wheelchair with his leg up.
Yeah, he did
I
something.
Axl
believe-
Rose.
Yeah, he broke his leg.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
That
But
sucks.
he still did it.
You have your big
Yeah.
comeback at Coachella and you have a
Yeah.
broken leg.
So what year did you guys play Coachella?
12, I think.
It's
2012.
not too long ago.
11, 12.
12.
Is that when they was just doing the double weekend? Or did they extend it? Now it's like over 3
Oh,
years.
yeah.
That
it's
was,
true.
I think it was
Yeah.
the first year they did the double weekend.
Yeah, that was a big
Yeah.
deal. That guy was from Toronto who started that whole thing up.
Really?
I think it was Elliot Lefko. He was one of the guys behind that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's an old Toronto name, yeah.
Yeah. I met
That
him
was the
years
day
ago.
that one of those shows was the day that we learned that computers actually fail in certain temperatures if it's too hot, and our whole rig from my keyboards, the playback tracks and whatever, like expired in our second show. Like we had an amazing first show. I guess it was a little bit cooler in temperature,
Yeah.
and like you could tell that it had created a buzz to fill the tent with people to come and see the show the second weekend. And then I opened my computer and it died.
Nothing.
And-
Yeah, for the
And then
acapella
the backup
bands?
computer.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
for everything. Like for it was because and like all of my keyboards
what I'm saying,
were
so
coming out. So it
everything
was
fried.
Tina and drums, and I had like I remember I had like 6 guys standing around. I was like, firewire cable, other laptop, backup hard drive,
Scalpel.
There was like surgery on this computer.
That would have been pretty rad, actually.
It was terrifying. Martina was like crying offside
I
stage.
was
and my
not
hands were
crying.
shaking. You were.
I was sitting there like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was
Once
so
again,
stressful.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is
We're
it.
we're imposters. That's the feeling.
We
right?
cannot do
Wow,
this.
Yeah.
We're the imposters.
Yeah.
Everybody
We
is.
can't even bring gear that works. Like all these guys, look at these DJs with their fucking SD chips, and they just come in and play.
I think I saw one with backup CDs.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Anyway,
you guys kind of did get tied in a little bit with the EDM sound, even pre-EDM-ish, you know what I mean? But it is what it is now.
our first song was like EDM. It was a giant synth line in that song "I Get Around," which is 2005. It sounded.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about, actually, I have a funny story about that. I think it's that. You guys shot a video for that at Wicked
Yeah,
Club,
Wicked.
right? And
Former Swingers Club. Did you guys were you married at the time? Did you bring your wives down?
I lived right
Yeah.
down the street.
Right up
I lived
top.
at Able Street during that period.
Okay.
And that's when Vinny, I think it just kind of moved in. I think they did your video for it.
Yeah, coldest day of like
Yeah,
50
and
years.
Pam. Yeah, so that's the day. A couple days later, I was walking by, and there was mattresses outside
Oh,
that
yeah.
had a sign on it saying "free mattress,"
From a sex club, swinging sex club.
Wow.
and they were there for days,
I hope
and
so.
no one complained for that neighborhood
Well,
at
you
that
can't
time.
imagine how many mattresses we used at filming.
You guys must use so many.
Oh my
They were
god.
giving them away for days.
It was
God.
minus.
37.
Oh,
Yeah, they had
It
a
was-
stunt double for Martina's legs. There was a scene of her walking in with a short skirt into the
outside it was like.
venue.
Yeah.
So they got a girl to. Martina was like, "I can't do that. It's too cold."
Or
They
Nixon.
managed-
No,
Your
but I am not a
margaritas.
pussy. But it was the end of the night, and I was so tired, and I was so cold all day because there's like no heat in there
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah, they did the heat. Didn't
Why?
work.
How can you have a
Yeah.
sex club with
Wow.
no heat?
No, they just
Friction.
didn't. They didn't want to pay the bill.
Yeah. Or the bill had been
Oh
paid.
my god. Anyways, I just was. I was like, I had reached the end. I was like, I don't think I can do that. So somebody else.
They rubbed
But she had
Vaseline on her
sexy
legs.
legs.
She
Oh,
did
her
have nice
legs were
legs.
sexy.
Yeah.
Your legs were sexy in that video.
I don't remember, but
Depending
I
on
believe
whether they were
I believe you.
leg double.
The one where you're walking in, it's so awesome.
But that was our band started from like when Martina and I met. Martina was like a folk singer, like a what you call it?
No, it's just like I was just like singer songwriter.
singer songwriter,
Okay,
and
Locally.
I played in this
Yeah,
locally, right?
yeah.
nationally. Actually, no. When I met Tina, she was on tour with Brian Ferry. We were going around the U.S.
I was a pretty big deal. Okay.
Yeah,
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking.
No.
Yeah,
You and Brian
No,
Ferry.
I-
but had played Free Times Cafe and all that other stuff too.
Yeah.
So your legit side is like playing the Yellow Door in the '60s. You couldn't be doing less. And then I played in this
Those
band called
times,
the New Deal, which was like all
Yes.
about
It's a house,
bringing
a live
EDM
house music band.
house music band to the hippies and the jam scene.
Yeah.
And our first song was me trying to copy the keyboard player in the New Deal on a keyboard. I bought a synthesizer and was like, I'm going to try and make sounds like the guy who I play with because I'm a bass player. And we wrote this song, I Get Around, which
meanwhile, he's trying to make bass sounds with his synth.
Exactly. Well, that's now ironically what I do because of the shoulder. But the...
Oh, dear.
we were... Like Martina I don't think I'd ever even heard any kind of music like that, which I think is part of the reason that we've made interesting songs in that genre. Where Martina's
No, well, that's not true.
Okay.
I had never written anything like that, and I had only ever written music on guitar and keyboards.
Yeah,
and
but this is about to tell you a great compliment, which is that you brought almost like classic songwriting style to
structure.
Structure and melody and lyric and the way to tell a story.
Well, the New Deal was a jam band, essentially live. And I don't. That's
all
a
instrumental.
Compliment I would take it as.
But starting with a song like I Get Around all the way up to like the bigger EDM songs like Hello 10 Years Later or whatever, but everything in between there's a song that Martina did with this DJ Cascade that's called Fire New Shoes. Yeah. And
he used to be such a great house
Vegas,
DJ.
Vegas. Yeah, right. He's a great DJ.
He's an awesome DJ.
Yeah. Oh, he's a fantastic DJ. It's just his music when he switched over from being like, he was a deep house, which used to be deep house in the 90s and 80s, 90s and early 2000s, not the new deep house that's out. I don't know.
Yeah.
You should know that.
There was a better time for that. But if you took, and in fact, if you listen to the track...
And I did hear that, so I listened to it earlier to check it out, and he looked so young there too. I forgot. I haven't seen him for so long.
I know. I had never even met him when we shot the music video.
You looked young there too.
Yes, well, of course.
You were young. You were much younger.
Still am.
But it's my only point is, and it goes back to a more broader comment about why I think what people like our band and why we like making the music that we do, and also why Martina's made these interesting songs with other people is because of the nature of the songs that you write over whatever music you're handed. And Fire in Your New Shoes is a really good example of that. Yeah. It's a song with one chord in it, which is pretty hard for somebody to write a melody over. Mm-hmm. And these really great songs come out. Between that, there's another one, this DJ, Don Diablo, I don't know if you've heard of him, he's a Dutch DJ. He did a song with Martina called Animale. And the lyrics in it make me think of that book, Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so, like, I've never heard songs like that before. And I think it comes from somebody who's, like, learned about writing songs from, like, a storyteller's point of view and creating a picture. And in a way, that's, I think, what's always made us stand outside of, like the super mainstream stuff, because it's hard for Martina, or uninteresting for Martina, to write songs that are kind of either generically, in the category of I'm so in love with you, you're a fucking asshole, why don't you call me on my cell phone,
you're a fucking asshole,
or whatever. Yeah, but you've gotten really good at it. I've given you a lot of reason for that. But anyway, it's I think that's the thread through all of our music, and whatever. Sometimes we bring in like the world of EDM, which I had spent a lot of time in, albeit 10 years ago, or like we've written like ragtime songs, or like kind of jazzy songs, or like shuffly swinging songs, or like rock songs.
What about the Basement Jacks tune?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So did you guys collaborate all with that, or did they just come out?
I did vocals? I did that with them.
Yeah.
That was actually the first collaboration.
No pressure. First collaboration ever. Sending him a Basement Jacks.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
So I think. Did you hook that up with them, or how did that come through?
Came through our guy at the label.
He was really good friends with Simon
and Felix.
Yeah.
And I watched those. I remember you guys coming up with lyrics. Like it was. I can't believe it was such an educational experience for you. I'm sure.
Yeah, that was like the first time I'd ever. Because even when Dan and I write songs, I had never been in the room with Dan. It's like, it's my turn. I'm going in. I'm going to go and like churn up some stuff inside and see what comes out.
Clean up the laundry. It's your turn.
Yeah, like it's like.
So with that process, you worked actually with them.
And so I worked with them, which I've done a ton of since then. But that was the first time, and I was like, I didn't understand that you actually just have to take like everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
and just
barf it out.
And just like put it in the mix and be okay with it, and be okay if it's a stupid idea. I didn't understand, so I'm like, oh my god, he's actually suggesting this lyric that's stupid. That's like in my mind, you know what I mean? Like I was listening to it like, and since then I'm like, I've learned you just actually put everything out on the table. And so they were professionals, and so I was the very green, little girl in the room. And I was watching it and I'm like, oh my god, that's so.
So did you guys learn from that's a different process than you guys were doing?
Yeah.
To make your music, right? Did you bring something like that to the table when you guys got back, back in recording and stuff like that?
I think it took a while because that was like an isolated thing. I still, to be honest though, I like the process of being alone and coming up with lyrics, and it's different, and I come up with different stuff. And if I'm in the room with somebody, it tends to I don't feel like I've gone unless the connection is like so immediate and deep. Like I don't feel like I've gone as deep into myself, and if I'm with somebody, it kind of stays, up here as opposed to like.
Well, they're also editing.
Right?
They're also editing your lyrics.
You're both editing, and sometimes you're thinking of something that you can't quite describe why it could be an interesting route, and so you lose trains of thought on the way because the other person needs to be on the same wavelength for it to work. And so if I'm just by myself, I don't have to get anybody on my wavelength. If I'm connected to the idea, I can pull it out.
So with your new album, did you guys kind of go back to how you were doing it before? Did you take a new approach?
There's a lot of everything.
Including flipping it entirely, which is where Martina would write a song over some generic track or whatever, and then would send me the vocal, and I would write an entirely different track underneath it. And that would be wildly different in nature from what in terms of the tone of it. In fact, my job would be to and I haven't really had much of a chance to do this in the way that we work, but to try and pull from the lyric and from the delivery of how Martina's singing it, write music that sounds like that, because typically it would be the other way around. I'd be like, Tina, I wrote a track, why don't you come and sing over it?
Right.
Yeah.
And
she'd squeeze in on it.
This is very similar to what hip-hop artists do. I'm seeing a lot of similarities in what you're talking about when you're writing, and then now what you're producing. Not even remixing it, but a lot of tracks, back in the days, it's not nowadays, but now back in the days, people would kind of write based upon how the lyric is going in a flow, so people can catch that flow and understand it, and then the punchline, whatever that verse or whatever have you, the punchline is there, but you're taking it up some way or the other. Is that where it comes from? You guys gotta.
I haven't done a lot of hip hop work, but
did you listen to
it's very similar.
No, I think it's come. Look, I think most music is the product of necessity, right? Like in the case of hip hop, it's you had records and you had a DJ, a mixer, and you had a microphone. You're gonna find a way to make it work, tune turntables and a microphone, right?
Yeah.
And in the case of how we started, even in our lifetime, bands were people who got together and sat in a room and fucking hashed out songs together on guitars and drums and keyboards or whatever. That doesn't really, unless you've had a ton of experience in doing that, that doesn't create the kind of songs that people are listening to now. The amount of sound design and intentional shaping and whatever that goes into it, it sounds so pro, and it is so pro, but it's about people working those tracks endlessly on a computer, and typically in an environment where you can't be sitting with somebody singing back and forth and whatever. You're on headphones in Starbucks in some cases or whatever. And I think I totally, it's that inversion of I've already got the vocal and now I'm going to build the track underneath it is, I think, a product of necessity and people having fractured lives and sending music all over the place. You get an MP3 and you can build whatever you want underneath that track.
Yeah, I think it's
sing over top of it.
Modern concept.
And it's funny because the illusion for most people who are fans or consumers of music is that these guys got together and they really collaborated and they made this shit happen. Mm-hmm. But in fact, it's people in laboratories all over the world working on really specific
sometimes you
parts
look at the liner notes on a single song, and there's 14 writers and 18 producers, and I've seen these these big commercial songs, like they, when the stakes are high enough, those songs will like make the rounds.
Yeah.
To
Well,
like,
look at a Bieber track.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
one. What was that one? Sorry, or what was the one that he did?
Sorry.
Skrillex.
Skrillex remixed it.
No, he
Or the one,
produced
the
it.
Did he produce it?
the one
Sorry,
with
then I guess
Diplo
it
and Skrillex.
Yeah. And then like there was controversy over what was it called?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you? Yeah.
So there was controversy over where the samples came from, and it turned out not to be sample, and just like all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
They just ended up flipping it in production, but there was like a zillion people involved in
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure.
Let alone,
Because they're not releasing something unless they know,
yeah, it's
unless
gone
they
through
feel
the
like it's
ringer.
right. And like sometimes I'm sure it's like overkill, but they have the time and the budget, I guess.
For sure.
That's just insane though to think about it. But you can have guys like you.
I was just about to say, when we started, I was way shittier at what I do than I am now. But
Yeah.
I fully believe that I could make all of our record on our own, because like we were one of very few bands that were making the kind of music they were making, like somewhere between pop and rock and electronic and whatever. Yeah. And also had this DIY thing that was really cool at the time, especially Toronto was like, to me, that we kind of left Toronto because it was the hub of DIY and we were being too shiny for that scene. Mm-hmm. But now, like, it feels like, you're building a house and you've got like fine craftsmen of every kind. There's a guy who's really good at tuning vocals. There's a guy who's really good at all they do is drum programming. There's a guy who all they do is like samples, like replacement or recreation of samples if you've ever used them. And the one track that I'm talking about that I built the music underneath Martina was the only song that from start to finish I was like, I'm going to make this sound like music that I've played my entire life. It sounds like a band playing like, fake programmed drums and whatever. And I played guitar and piano and sang into it. And it was a very unelectronic track. But I was like, this song doesn't have to compete with, like, it's not competing for space on radio with these songs. Like, for example, I listened to this, I love this latest Selena Gomez record. It's because it's like amazing writing, amazing production, amazing performance, amazing perfect everything. And I listened to that record and I compare it to anything else that comes up against it, and it sounds like louder, like brighter, warmer, better than in every way. And so I know that like the world's best, guys who have sliced this thing into a million parts of perfection. And I think to myself, this song Detonate, I don't have to compete with that because A, it's not going on the radio. B, it's like a completely different sound palette. And for once, I can just make the whole fucking track and not have to worry about getting anybody else involved to like polish up get it up to that level. And that's the place that we find ourselves in now. Like, a band over a decade of a career, like if you're still in the game, you're not so much defining the game anymore as in a way we were. Like when we started, we made up our own genre and we like brought a couple of weird things together and said, like, this is how we dress, this is what we sound like, fucking A, we're cool. And now 10 years later, we're in the stream. Like, is the Dragonette single going to get on the radio up against the Rihanna and the Bieber and the whatever else? Because that's the game that we're playing in now at this point. And so all of a sudden, these things that we used to just do for the fun of it, or with the kind of brash confidence that it doesn't matter or whatever. Yeah, and now it's like, we got to get that guy who makes drums sound like this to play, to work on the record. Luckily, the guy who's mixed all of our albums our third one we did with another guy, but the guy who mixed our first record is this guy in England who, at the time, had I known he was 23 when he mixed our record, I would have like thrown him out the door, but he did an amazing job on our first record and just mixed our last album, and he has grown with us, and at the same time he's made huge records, which makes me at least have the confidence that like, okay, we'll just put it in Dan's hands and he'll make it sound like a Halsey record or make it sound like a Lana Del Rey record or all this other stuff that he's worked on. But man, to think of like sitting in our studio and just like making an album ourselves is fucking gone. Like it's those days are over for anybody.
So how does that feel?
Well, it feels like on the positive side, you get to work. You have to find interesting people to work with, which is cool. It takes you out of your like, this is the way I do things whatever. Yeah. And it also frees you up to think about other stuff. Like I think about like, how am I going to deliver this? What's my role on stage going to be about how to deliver our band? And I can get a little more perspective on it listen to the way that other people have made like parts of our tracks and think about like how do we present that as a band, and that for us becomes an evolution that in a way is almost more meaningful because that's where we're going to spend the next year of our lives, is playing shows and needing it to be important to us.
So tell us about what to expect from one of your live shows then. You do have a tour coming up, don't you? You guys got a Cage Lines, pretty fucking rad.
We actually have not started rehearsing properly the fall tour.
Yeah, but we're building the tech.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so can I talk for a bit? I've been talking a lot, but you guys, am I doing okay?
Is it okay if you talk for a bit?
So, we've been joking about this thing, like Dragonette awkwardly fitting inside the DJ world and awkwardly fitting inside the indie world or whatever. We, because we've come at, like Joel, our drummer, is like, went to jazz school and actually is an amazing jazz pianist and is a real drummer. And over time I've been like, dude, we got to update these sounds. Like, let's get electronica in here. Like, to the point of now he's playing D drums, which are triggering whatever sounds, and trying to find this hybrid place. And at the same time, we we have playback tracks because there's way too much shit going on to play it all at once. And so somehow I became a keyboard player, which behind this like Wizard of Oz station, and I'm not a keyboard player. I'm a bass player who like ran around the stage, and Joel like used to play the drums and
playing the bass
and the Taurus pedals,
the suburbs. Dude.
Yeah. So we often get these shows like this thing that we would do in Lebanon is like be DJs with Martina singing in front of you, but then the next day go like be a band and play as a band. And so what's exciting about what we're attempting to do is to be able to do both those things in one show, so that like if we're a live band.
So if you got 30 seconds, you can come out with your memory stick.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom, while the band sets up behind you. Guys ready?
Yeah,
you guys ready?
Yeah, exactly.
Wiki.
Yeah, exactly. And so but the amount of shit that you like need to program and build and like all the way down to it's just I don't know what it's going to look like.
I have trouble thinking of the live show in terms of like a huge presentation, and I know that's what people go to see live music for.
You can associate kind of with both sides, so you got the best of both worlds and both sides festivals.
But where do you put your both?
For me, I literally when I go see a show, I just want to watch somebody sing, and that's really what I want to do when I'm on stage. And so to think of a show like having to, I have trouble thinking of the bigger picture of pyro and lights and I know, and that's true. It's true. Like I
the size of this keyboard setup. So a spaceship lifting up behind you.
Exactly.
Where'd Dave go?
If I'm having a really good show, I just get lost in singing the songs, and so if there's like anything crazy gonna happen on stage, I won't even. Yeah. I'll like walk into the flaming.
So you're so enthralled in your performance.
Well, I just the best time I can have on stage is when I forget everything and it's just like me and the audience, and I'm actually really feeling the emotion of the song that I'm singing, and then I guess I'm kind of, my brain works very simplistically in that way, in that I have to go think bigger than just that, me having that job, and it's like, okay, somebody else needs to.
So Dan, you're designing the stage? Perhaps a run island for her to go stand on?
Maybe.
And the fireworks.
Or I envision like a river with flames in it too.
Nice.
I was thinking about that, because the water you can get in.
Well, we've done some fun things so far, and it always is like us kind of like DIYing.
Yeah,
we have
something.
We've been known to be like spray painting shit in the back of Martina's barn up at her farm or whatever. Like our crew guys like building stuff out of paper mache and chewing gum and like spray painting it, covering it in glitter like the day before we're supposed to go on tour.
You just got an idea.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, but that's part of the part of the gig, and that's what I mean. It's like part of the evolution of you never imagine those things. Well, I mean, I guess some people did. Like probably Prince thought about it the day he was born, like how to deliver the whole show. But in our case, like you're just like just make a record and maybe get a gig outside of Toronto.
So it's been 10 years. So from being just over 10 years now, right? From being the shy Canadians breaking out and going, we're supposed to be here?
Yeah.
To now kind of like embracing the hotness of being a Canadian artist out there. Does that give you a bit more confidence with the years behind you, being like the experience involved, the pride that seems to be emanating from the city of Toronto alone? Like it seems to be a hot place to be from now.
Yeah, it's definitely a buzz.
If the backfires, of course, if you don't sound like Drake or Bieber, and then people be like, I think we bought the wrong band. You're from Toronto, right? You're supposed to sound
but so was Peaches, though, right?
Yeah, I never knew you guys. When I first heard you, I didn't know you guys came from Toronto.
Well,
I thought you were like
that's what they want.
Down to talking to Mavis.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, are they in town? Like, are we a rush to get you guys on the podcast? Like when you guys were doing your thing last month, and like, we're trying to rush. Like, okay, we got this date here. Can we do it at fucking 3:00 in the morning?
Yeah.
No. Okay, I don't know. So, but I didn't know that you guys were actually here.
Like, come by my park.
Like, should have all went to buy some beer. And I didn't know.
We were living in England for 6 or 7 years, and we were. Between Dragonette and, in the case of my other band, The New Deal, I felt like I was commuting almost weekly from London to like Toronto or Chicago, and then from there going on and playing another like 3 shows, and then getting back to London and feeling shell shocked, and 3 days later going back somewhere. And it.
Oh, you poor rock stars!
Hey man, if it was business, it would have been fine. But but I think it was we left because I think it's less and less relevant for people living in Toronto now, but it's probably a good piece of advice for anyone. When we first made our record, and I remember I was in our house and I was looking around the house, and then we had this car in the backyard, and I was like, unless I like do something about it, I'm going to blink, and in 20 years I'm going to be living exactly like this in Toronto. And I grew up I was born in another country and lived in a bunch of other cities, and knew that the world was kind of out there and bigger. And Martina and I, in the first days that we met, had talked about like, let's go live somewhere else. And, I just want to have that kind of experience. And so when we got this record deal, we got an English record deal. It didn't mean you had to do anything other than just make a record for an English record company. We're like, fuck it, we're going to go there, and we'll go for 6 months, and we'll see what happens. And then we stayed forever and brought our cats there and bought a house. And then, but after a while, it was overwhelmingly obvious that we were working in North America and living in a house in England. And so we came back, and in that time, Toronto, completely transformed. I'd lived here for 30 years or whatever, and I barely recognized the city from now, like from 3 years ago when we moved back to now. And it's
actually so awesome. And it's
awesome.
Summertime, and it's like
summertime in Toronto, it's hard to beat.
Right? I know, it's so special.
But the Call of the Wild is still there, man. I want to get to some places that are a little riskier, like Beirut.
What are you talking about? Chicago. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Summer Chicago is amazing. Guaranteed a shot heard.
But it is cool in a way. We've heard lots of those who've been in some weird places, man.
So stories. Okay, stories. Give us some.
Well, we got a good. I think my best one is from Lebanon. The first time we went there to play, and this guy, we were coming from. It was actually the weirdest weekend I think of all Dragonette. Followed only by the time we went to Manila for 12 hours, which is really far away to go for that. But we played in Dubai, and then on a hangover, which you're not supposed to be able to have drinking in Dubai, you
can't have a hangover.
Well, you can't drink alcohol really unless you're like locked in your hotel and drinking.
Really, it's like that.
Yeah, it's a.
I know, but people they do it.
Yeah, they do.
I guess they got a lot of money to do it.
But we were like, I was just so anxious when we landed in left Dubai, it was like if anything goes wrong, if we do anything wrong, this is the kind of place where you can spend a lot of time in prison, and so
it's easy not to do the wrong things.
No, but you don't know. Fast forward to like 36 hours later or whatever, when we got to Lebanon, and our visa was like on this piece of paper that there was like a little stamp that was just like stamped in here, and then it had been faxed over, and it was written in Arabic, so I didn't know what it said, and and so evidently what it said was, we promise to get a visa by the time we leave. And the guy, so we got into the country, no problem, whatever. The promoter takes us to the gig. At the end of the show, this big deal guy in Beirut was like, you must be my guest, and I'm going to take you tomorrow to the 8th wonder of the world, and my driver will take you there. And the promoter comes running up to me. He's like, you can't do that. And I was like, what's the big deal? He goes, you have to get your visas before you leave. And so Martina and Joel went. I took their passports. They went to the 8th wonder of the world, and I went to a military police barracks to get our entertainment visas, where a bus full of Russian prostitutes pulled up, and they all get out, and their passports all get put in the same pile as mine, entertainment visa application. And we all did contracts with the Pasha, who was running this local police station. And so
so while I was getting like driven around with Joel by this baller, taking us out to see all
I'm
the
looking
sights.
at my watch going, our flight is leaving in 6 hours, and I'm in a line of Russian prostitutes to get an exit visa from an
and
Arab
I'm
country.
drinking like a magnum of rosé.
You came back and you came back to
Sounds like a great time to me.
And it was sketchy. It was one of the few moments where I was like, it was the only time I've really ever been afraid outside of, like, because I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah, but you work yourself up in those situations where it's like, this could go really wrong, and meanwhile
probably could go really wrong.
I don't know.
I
wasn't there. I mean, I was drinking rosé on the beach.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it seemed pretty easy.
The champagne kept getting sweeter.
I think he was overthinking it.
No, I wasn't overthinking it. I had to get photographs of you, and I had to get them printed, and I had to, in like the middle of Beirut on a Sunday, and they had to be a certain size, and they had to be, I had to find a printer. I remember that, and I had them on a memory stick, and they wouldn't put the memory stick in the computer, and then they wouldn't print it at the military barracks. It was all
why is taking him so long?
No, they're like, go to the store and get it. You come with the pictures. Okay, well, I like the flight and the thing, and the Russian girls are gonna get in front of me in the line, and like, anyway, it all worked. Oh, and the best part was, it was casual Sunday at the military police barracks, so they were really relaxed because they were allowed to wear jeans there instead of their like fatigues every day. So it was surreal. Like, these guys who looked like me were just like sitting in these, but they were all
that would be
heat,
surreal.
And they were like,
explosives tied to their belt.
Yeah,
dude, that's not your normal belt, is it?
Yeah.
Shoestrings.
Anyway, it all happened. Each one of us got 2 pages of our passports stamped, and that's the.
And I got to see the 8th wonder of the world.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, there you go. That was probably one of them. That was the top one for me. Just the cops in Beirut.
Can't be any worse than cops.
That's a good punchline. And the cops in Beirut.
Well, they probably are, actually. They've probably seen a lot.
And in a way, don't give a shit about some, like, there. It's like, this is not a problem, we'll make this work. I'll say, if you throw money at the problem there, things seem to work out, like getting our gear into that country, which is another reason why we should just be DJs, because then all we're bringing is an SD chip as opposed to 14 cases of gear.
Yeah, and also, you shouldn't have a singer in your band. Because then you need a microphone on stage.
What's that all about?
Yeah, maybe you should have a band.
It'd be so much easier. They should get rid of their singer.
Let's put a CD right on that. Press play, pitch it up.
Exactly. So much more manageable.
There's a plugin.
I'm sure he knows how to do it. Yeah, he's already figured it out. Okay, well, listen. You guys have anything you want to plug as we wrap it up here? It's just about an hour.
I started making some kombucha.
Yeah.
I started making kombucha, and
I'm
thinking of branding it, and what do you guys think?
I think it's a great idea.
Wait, is that more important than our album, Dan?
Yeah, well, but I'm plugging...
What's the name? Dan's Kombucha?
I was thinking it's Dragonette kombucha.
Ooh, nice.
Dragons
kombucha.
Are you guys going to do exclusive limited edition available online giveaways of kombucha? Comes with the memory stick of your album?
That's a great idea.
Whoa.
Really,
or does it come with the new 90-minute cassette?
Oh, I feel like that's going to dip into my portion that I get. If I have to drink any less kombucha in order for somebody to get it.
It's actually highly in demand among my friends. Anyway, yeah, we have a new album. It's called Royal. Say the other word. That's what we say.
Oh, well, we're still disputing.
It's whether it's Royal Blue
Dispute?
or Royal...
No, it's called Royal
Dispute.
Blues.
That's how wars are started. It's called Royal Blues. It's our 4th album.
It's our 4th full-length album.
Yeah, we did an EP in there. And a couple
What was it called?
It's called Mix and Thrill.
No, it was called... the EP was with Volcano and all those ones. Our Summer.
Right, yeah, anyway, you're right.
I think it was called the Dragonette EP.
That's what I thought I heard somewhere.
That's what it is.
And there's a single that's... What day is this coming out? And as opposed to me saying it's coming out
within
today
a month.
Within a month. So our current single is called Lonely Heart, which is what we just shot this video for, which I would highly recommend watching this video that is not completed yet, but I have amazing faith in this, like how fucking cool this video is going to be. Martina's wearing a lot of bright clothing, which is a nice change. And
yeah, we just shot it last week, so we haven't actually seen any footage, but we're going on a hunch. It's going to be fun.
Sounds pretty amazing.
And then we're going to tour in the fall, coming to a Canadian, like, large, small, and medium town or city near you, and then maybe you'll have to go to a warmer place to see us in the winter.
Oh, sounds like a horrible idea.
So how do we find this information out? Website.
What do you got? You guys got a website?
I didn't even get a chance to go on my
hashtags.
social media rant.
Well,
you guys will come back.
Let's do it right now.
Edit it.
No.
We'll do I bet you part 2, but keep that on mind. Sure.
Yeah.
So what's your social media?
We're at Dragonette.com. We're Dragonette /Facebook.
Facebook/Dragonette.
Dragonette. And
And
Instagram, Dragonette Band.
That's all one
And
word.
Twitter at Dragonette.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And my email is dan@dragonette.com.
What about Snapchat?
We
You know
don't do that.
You know what's so stupid is that I actually make way more videos.
On
I make
Snapchat?
way more videos on Instagram than I do just take pictures because I'm kind of killing the little mini video.
Oh, you're on that.
But
tip,
I can't.
right?
I can't fit another social media
Are
platform.
you gonna fit that in the TIFF festival? Maybe. I think they're doing an Instagram or like a mini Instagram.
What?
Yeah, you better get on top of that, girl.
What? I will
That's
kill
the first
that.
time this year, too.
I heard about it.
This year. Christ.
Yeah,
I will look into that because killing it.
God damn it! Don't we remember when movies were movies?
Oh,
when
VHS.
bands were bands?
Remember was beta
To be
VHS
continued.
Laserdisc? This is true.
I may have peaked your microphone there. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool.
That was
we
for
got
drama.
levels. We got levels for you guys. Well, this is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I would love to have you guys back on when you get back on tour.
Amazing.
More stories.
Maybe you'll have to come on the road.
When we know more about what our live
I'm
show
down
looks
for
like.
Yeah.
What's your album called again?
Royal Blues,
Perfect.
With an
Royal
S.
Blues.
not with a Z.
With a Z?
No, with
Oh,
an
no.
S.
Not Varsity Blues, Royal Blues.
Yeah. Ooh, Rob Lowe.
Yes.
Oh.
No, is it? I don't know.
Blues.
To be determined. All right, I'm Steve.
To be Googled.
And I'm Chad, and this is the City Podcast, and we're at the Spoke Club here in Toronto, Canada,
What's Dragonette?
with Dragonette.
Dan and Martina.
Holler.
Holler.
Sweet.
Instagram,
Peace.
Facebook,
Dragonette band. Dragonette.
Bass.
Yeah.
Face.
Awesome.
So you're
Peace.
gonna go with that? You figure the spaceship on 2 scissor lifts.
Yeah, the mothership.
Yeah, the mothership, the
Buying it from
keyboards in
George
the back.
Clinton. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. The
Yeah.
P-Funk All-Star
Yeah.
stuff. Can you imagine this shitty fog machine shooting down? The light.
Well, and like 400 par cans. We're up
You know how hot that
of
would
the
be
age
now?
when like you would see shows where like all they had was just like lights that went on and off, and like if you wanted red ones, you had to choose how many or whatever.
Yeah, because the
And
gels
the
would go over
fucking
them.
heat on those things, man, and the distros and all that shit. We bring lights
All
that
the
are.
scaffolding. Yeah. Well, you got
We bring
LED
lights
now.
that are the size of this that will like burn a hole through your retina at like 40 feet away if you're not careful.
No.
And they're like you can plug them in like 20 of them into a wall. Like the shit that you can do with nothing is just amazing. I don't know anything about
So
this
it's kind
stuff.
of like you could fold up your light show in a suitcase.
We've
That
flown
actually
lighting with
makes
us
sense to
before.
me.
Really?
Like in
Because, like,
keyboard bags, road cases,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. Like
just like
little
finding your
Intelligent moving things
Yeah.
that are like really.
but
center.
that's part of I think what I'm trying to figure out is like because you can do that,
I
everybody
guess
does that.
either-
And so like what's the thing that makes
put your
us
glasses
look
on or close
different?
your eyes.
That's the art part of it, I think, or like the thing that's the creative part. We can call Westbury and get like a big lighting pattern.
Joel, I need you over
I
here
actually feel
right
like
now.
my right knee
You met Joel.
is suffering this whole coldness. I don't want to go back to the smaller one.
Oh man, it's got some good.
It's like my hand is like every time I hold it, I'm like, this is like doing that.
So how do we do on this? New work coming out.
No.
Quick rise for a ride.
Fish. Canadian Pride.
So I want to ask more about
Just kidding.
New Deal.
Oh yeah, I'm playing with New Deal still. We've done 1,450 shows.
I know. I remember you guys were, it's like we're starting out with 99 shows.
Wow.
Think Fit 365, the safest and smartest way to train. Now, I've been following Trevor Cochran, who's the owner of Think Fit 365 for a long time on Instagram, and I've been watching how he does his movements and how he does his training. A lot different from what everybody else is doing. He's not just posting pictures up and flexing. He's actually showing how to do proper movement. Now, I truly believe that you don't need to have a PhD in movement, because it's just a matter of experience and you know, knowing what back pain and injuries are all about and how to mend them and how to fix them properly. And I am a big advocate for Think Fit 365. Now, we all know that injuries aren't created normally. They don't just accidentally happen, which means that they can be prevented. Now, if you know if anybody or yourself has been walking through the circle of injuries such as surgeries, physical therapists, chiropractors, managing pain or dealing with pain after surgery, Think Fit 365 can make sure that the risk of surgery or any type of injury, the surgery predominantly goes down well, that these injuries don't happen again. Now, objectively, Think Fit 365 are an educational company that teaches people about their body, the shoulder, knees, and lower back use so that these injuries aren't created. So I'm a big advocate for it. Once again, I've been having injuries. I've had injuries over the past 20 years of playing competitive sports in football and now moving into soccer, or we want to call football, whatever we want to call it. It's body movement. And at this time in life, when you get a little bit older, you got to be paying attention a little bit more about your movements and how the body really works instead of not knowing how it works. So while I back Trevor up 100%, I'm glad I got in contact with this guy. I'm glad he's now the sponsor, the fitness sponsor, one of our fitness sponsors for the podcast. His website, if you go to www.thinkfit365.com, you can find out a little bit more of what he's on about. And if you're one of those modern kids that don't like to read, you can go and follow him on Instagram at tfit365. The guy's super knowledgeable. The company is super knowledgeable. They're moving into the future. They got a lot of good backing, a lot of good doctors that are behind them that back him and that give him credentials to know that he knows what he's talking about when it comes to injuries in the gym. Think Fit 365 at tfit365. The website, once again, is www.thinkfit365.com. Go there, ask him any question you got about fitness. They'll be able to answer your question. The guy is dope. He's down from Texas. He's a good man. He's a good guy. He wants to make you healthy. Think Fit 365.